I just finished What Remains of Edith Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch is the second game by Giant Sparrow, the guys who produced The Unfinished Swan. Now, The Unfinished Swan's a good game, and I think Edith Finch is a good game as well. But I think the two, the one has one thing better than the other, and the other has blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, one's better than the other in some aspects, and one's worse off in the other aspects. Edith Finch is about Edith Finch, a young girl who returns to her family's home after many years apart, after receiving a strange letter and key from her mother, her dead mother. And right from the get-go, you feel the atmosphere, you feel the direction the game's trying to take you in, or the direction that the producers, or the developers of the game want you to go in. Through Edith's monologues and walking around and just seeing constantly the ominous sight of the house. The house itself is sort of the main character of the game rather than Edith. You're kind of seeing it through Edith, but the house is really the main character, with the family of the Finches being the secondary character and Edith being the tertiary character. And the story really is just about Edith and the player going about the house and discovering about each Finch family member's untimely deaths. Gruesome at times, but also untimely. And immediately, as soon as you walk into the house, it's like, whoa, okay. You really are struck by the house the second you... Not really the second you enter it, like, you go through like a little cat flap door into a garage, and then you go into the kitchen. It's when you hit the kitchen and then start moving into the hallways and the living area that you really just get stuck, like hit real hard with the house. You feel the character, you feel the weight, you feel the history. And then precedingly you go through the game for each family member's last nights, basically. And they are really the crux of the game. Outside the family member stuff, and even sometimes during the family member stuff, the gameplay is quite limited to just walking around. And that's it, really. Next to no interaction, looks like I'd say about like 10% interaction, mainly just walking around. The occasional monologue from Edith, it's just her inner monologues monologuing to you. But the main pitch of the game is the house and each Finch member and their deaths. They range from like a 1-year-old baby who dies in a bathtub to like a young girl who like daydreams, and I don't even really know how she dies, really. It's just quite a weird trippy section, to death by isolation, really, and death by serial killer, and yada yada yada. They're large and varied, and the stories are really, of each member, is really the driving force of the game. Some of them really hit home hard, depending on what kind of theme they're hitting you with and your own personal experiences. For me personally, it was Walter's story that really hit me hard and had me in tears. Like, that was quite a terrifyingly sad story. Admittedly, annoyingly, right at the end is where the game really falters for me. I won't spoil the ending, but it wasn't to my taste. Perhaps, potentially, you might see it differently. I guess a lot of the game is due up for interpretation. I quite like that about these kind of artsy-fartsy games, where they're up for interpretation. Everyone experiences their own way through the game, and I kind of like that. I see that with the family members, but with the ending, I kind of felt like they really needed to knock that out of the park and kind of give the player a great payoff to kind of sort of the traumatic experience of going through all these party members, and it never happened for me. I don't know how anyone else feels about the ending. The ending to me kind of warrants a sequel game. I have no idea if we'll ever get that, but I'd love it. But at the same time, I would have liked that payoff, especially emotionally, because by the end of the game really had me gripped. I was like powering. You know how you get that moment in the game where like you're kind of going through the motions, and then all of a sudden it clicks, and you just train wreck through that motherfucker. You bulldoze through the rest of the game. That happened, and then the ending happened, and it just kind of killed my momentum. Again, no spoilers. I'm not trying to make it sound ambiguous. It's not a happy ending, but it's not necessarily a sad ending either. So I don't know. Take to that what you will. What I will say though is that I would highly recommend the game. It's a game that gestates after you've finished it, and in my opinion, it becomes better after the fact that you've played it, not during the fact. I have a far better experience with the game post completion to during playing, finishing the game, thinking about it, gestating over it, really coming to my own terms and my own resolution with the game and what I've seen and who the characters are, what happens, and what my kind of ideas are about the family and the circumstances. And it's kind of brought me a sort of peace. I'm quite content now with it. Although I'm still happy to air out my frustrations. But for the most part, I would say it was definitely an experience worth having. Admittedly though, I would not buy it full price. Full price is $15.99. Okay, that doesn't actually sound all that unreasonable. These kind of games are like bog standard $15.99 on the PlayStation Store. But I bought it for $7.99 on a sale, and it was definitely worth that price. I wouldn't have paid $15.99 for it. I would have felt a bit begrudged about that. But overall, the game did really draw out a lot of emotions in me. I was going to say demons, but it's not really demons. It's just really kind of, deep buried emotions. And even at times resentment. I'll say that as well. It brought out a lot of deep down emotions in me, and a lot of resentment that I hold to certain members of my own family, and it really it's quite an eye-opening thing. If you've got a big family, or you had a big family, or you've just got a family that's tight-knit, or it's kind of, matriarchal, or it's a family that's, kind of ruled over, not ruled, but kind of like leadershiped by, like your grandmother or an elder. That's the kind you'll get a lot out of this game. You'll get a lot of you'll connect. You'll be able to connect with the family. You'll be able to identify with their problems and their struggles and the things that they do and the things that they get up to. And I think that is way worth more than the overpriced tag for the game. Speaking of the overpriced tag, it's a couple hours long. You can probably beat it in like an hour and a half. Look into that what you will, but I will say it's quite effective with its time. Giant Sparrow really kind of nailed quite easily this type of game, and it works. It works for the length. If it was any longer, it would have dragged on a bit. If it was any shorter, I would have thought, hey, you're kind of missing things out here. So I was quite happy with that. And overall, I will just say I highly recommend the game. I don't know if this kind of video's been told you nothing really about the game. I've tried to keep it ambiguous, and I've told you everything about the gameplay. You literally just walk around and press a button. That's really it. But you can't really spoil anything in this game. You can't really give anything away. You have to see it. You have to kind of experience it. Like I say, buy it cheap, experience it, take it in, and come up with your own conclusions to it. That's all I can really say. And that's me, just finished What Remains of Edith Finch. Thanks for watching if you did. Hopefully you'll pick up the game if you've had some reservations about picking up. I sure as hell did myself, and then picked it up, and I don't regret it at all. And I'm now trying to, preach to the choir to get people to buy it. So thanks to you all. I've been This Is Living. Don't forget to be excellent to each other, and I'll see you soon.